Ladies and gentlemen, this is part 3 of 9.1, and there's just a little bit left to do. So you're a pro at this point. So describe the error in the student's work in graphing the solution. So what did the student make the mistake of? So let's check. What should this have been? This got negative 3 is less than t plus 3.6. Well, I want to get t by itself, right? So I want to subtract this since I'm adding it. And if I subtract it to both sides, I get a negative 6.6 is less than t. So we've got 6.6, that's good. We have an open arrow, that's good. So what is wrong? T is greater than all of these, so our arrow needs to go this direction because 0 is greater than 6.6, negative 6.6. So that's where they made the mistake. Hopefully you were able to identify that without just me helping you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that's really essential that we do is we check to make sure our answers make sense. So when we're solving an equation, we should substitute that answer back in to see if that did work and make that a true statement. It's the same thing with inequalities. You're going to plug back your answer and see if that makes a true statement. Now the catch with inequalities is they have more than one answer. They can have an infinite number of answers. So we need to just make sure that the answer we found would be a true situation. So they're saying, suppose you solve an inequality s minus 4.5 is greater than 2.5, and you get the solution s is greater than 7. Well, they want us to check that. So they're showing us a number line, and we can see all the values greater than 7 would be working for s. So they want us to check to see if I put 7 in and we subtract 4.5, is it in fact either equal to 2.5 or is it going to be greater than 2.5? So if I put that in, I do find that 7 is going to be an acceptable answer, that 7 minus 4.5 is actually going to give me 2.5, so that that is equal and that's acceptable. But I also need to make sure that I'm checking to see that the signs are going in the right direction, the circle is the correct circle that's been used. So I want to check the direction of the inequality symbol as well. So if I put 8 in, would 8 also be a true statement? And yes, it would be, because then I would get 3.5, and that is going to be greater than 2.5. So you just want to pick a couple and check. Did the one you go work correct? Is that correct or a true statement? And then based on the number you picked, line you drew, the direction, would one of those answers also work? If not, then you need to check to see, was this line actually drawn the correct way, and then see if one of the other numbers would work. This is just a real quick so you can actually see the math since I was doing it mentally, that if you do plug 7 in for S, that you get 7 minus 4.5 possibly equals 2.5. They just changed this because that's just an easy way of remembering how to work it so that you don't get caught up in this sign issue, but you can leave that the same as well. The rules are exactly the same. So we find that this does check and that both are equal to 2.5. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, they also just went through and they checked a number that would have been in that line that they highlighted. I picked 8, they picked 10. It doesn't matter as long as one of those numbers along that line. You could have picked 8 and 2/3. Might make life a little more exciting to do some of that math, but when we do this, it does in fact check. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we need to do a ward store inequality. In a line, we restrict checked baggage to 80 pounds per person. You pack one 42-pound bag. How much can your second bag weigh? You're going to write and solve the inequality. So this is a real life situation where you would actually be using an inequality. So the weight of your first bag, we're going to say, plus the weight of your second bag is restricted to 80 pounds. So between the two bags, the most you can have is 80 pounds. We're going to let S be the second bag. The first bag we knew was 42 pounds. We need to add a second bag, but they have to stay less than 80 pounds. So we have 42 plus S is less than 80. Remember, I want to get S by itself. So in order to get S by itself, I need to subtract 42 from both sides. So when I do, this just becomes 0. So S is less than or equal to 38 because 80 minus 42 is 38. I have an equal or less than sign, so I have a solid circle. And because I'm saying S is less than 38, it means all the values over here are going to be less than 38. Now remember, one of the most important things is to check your answer. So let's check. Hope you can see my little lines don't move, do they? Okay. So we plug it in and we find that if I put 38 in, it does check and it is correct. 80 does equal 80. And then when I go and pick a different number that would be on there, so 20 way over here is the number that they have chose. So 42 plus 20 is going to be in fact less than 80 because it's only 62. So both of these checked. So we know that our bag has to be less than or equal to 38 pounds, not 38.1, 38 or less.